Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 4, Episode 11, and if you counted all of them, that's 161 episodes of pure fantasy and bear enjoyment. I'm Craig.
My name is Britt.
And Britt, we're back. Week 1 in the NFL has happened. Every single person is injured. It's perfect.
It feels that way. It absolutely feels that way. We've got a long list of injuries. Injuries definitely affected the performance of the metric this week. I mean, just thinking back on the guys we recommended last week, one of the people we talked about was Melvin Gordon. He didn't play a full game.
Nope.
I don't think we talked about Michael Thomas, but he obviously got hurt. We didn't lose any of the quarterbacks or anything like that, but we definitely had some injuries last week. So yeah, it's been a wild start already. So, but hey, my team is 1-0, and I'm sorry your team isn't. But
they're not, and they had a couple turnovers. Joe Mixon fumbled. He hasn't fumbled. He literally has not fumbled in 3 years. That's over 600 touches. Happened. Burrow he just made a bad decision trying to do a shovel pass when he shouldn't have. But you know what? That last drive showed me how talented Joe Burrow is, and I have hope.
Makes you feel good.
It does.
Makes you feel good about it.
Because they started at like the 18-yard line, no timeouts, under 2 minutes, and he just drove them down the field, hitting different receivers very accurately. And that last call, we can debate that, but yeah, crap happens.
So I prepped info for who is Cincinnati playing this week in week 2?
They're playing the Browns tomorrow night.
Oh, well, then this just got shot to hell. I downloaded for America's favorite game. I downloaded all the spreads, and this is not the right week.
Oh no!
What is this?
I don't know.
These games aren't even real. I mean, it says Cincinnati's at Pittsburgh. What is this?
No, they're playing the Browns.
Oh my God! All right, well, we're gonna have to do that on the fly. But first, let's start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, I am drinking the infamous Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, cue the music. That's awesome.
It's delicious. It's, I could not, because of COVID, could not have it on tap like I would like to, but it's in a bottle. Still very good.
I thought your wife was bringing you a growler.
They're not doing them. She asked.
Really?
They said no. Which is weird because Aspetuck is. You just have to buy a new growler.
Well, that's what Two Roads was originally doing. I mean, a couple up until this is news to me. This is news to me. So, wow.
Yep.
Wow.
What are you going to do?
No, well, nothing you can do. You have it the best way you can. And I am multitasking right now, so if it sounds like I'm distracted, I am. I am right now jotting down all of the games that meet our criteria for America's favorite game feverishly on a pad, because I downloaded all of this and then just now was like, this doesn't look right. Okay, I've got all the games that are over 50. Okay, give me 30 seconds. So why don't you start with burning hot takes? What have you got for me today?
So today, I have a question about Sean's team. And if people don't know, Sean's team is the Bears.
Sean's a suffering Bear fan.
He is. I understand his pain, but their number one receiver, Mr. Robinson, there's been a lot of talk over the last 2 weeks that he doesn't want to be in Chicago anymore. He deleted
conflicting reports.
Deleted the Bears tags off of his Instagram account.
Yep.
And he said he wanted to be traded, and then his agent said he never said that. Now he says contract issues aren't going to be a distraction. Is he gonna finish the season as a Bear at this rate?
I think he is. I think he is going to play angry, and I think he's actually going to end up having a good year because of it. Don't be shocked if you start to see arguments on the sideline with him, though, because his sole focus is going to be posting numbers at this point. So if he's not getting 7 targets a game, then he's going to start barking about it, and you're going to hear about it in the media, and you're going to see it on the sideline, and et cetera, because he's not going to give a damn whether or not the Bears win or lose. He is solely going to care about posting numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bears are not going to cut him. He has no real trade value because he's going into a contract. He's in a contract year. and it's clear he's moving on next year. So the Bears would be wise to just utilize him as best they can and just let him wander off into the sunset. By the way, in my distraction, I didn't even tell you what I'm drinking.
Oh, what are you drinking, sir?
I'm drinking vitamin water.
Perfect.
Because I had a physical this week, and I got lectured on a number of topics.
Including carbs.
Oh my God. I have not had... That's not true. I had a small McDonald's French fry last night with dinner. But aside from that, I have not intentionally eaten a carb in the last 72 hours.
Uh-oh.
And my God, am I grumpy. Everything pisses me off. Everything pisses me off. I am so adjusting to this. So I'm drinking vitamin water tonight. I'm not, and he's worried about my cholesterol, and he wants me to take a statin, and statins and alcohol don't mix. And I'm like, all right, listen. And it depends on who you ask, too. I mean, the CDC says drink up to 14 drinks a week and you're fine. I'm like, 14 drinks a week? That's a high drinking week for me, But, it's just bizarre.
What do the British say?
The British say 2 a day, which if you do the math is 14 a week. But the British say, no. Don't think like that. Don't think if I skip Thursday I can have 4 on Friday. No. 2 a day.
2 a day.
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
That's not horrible.
No, it's not, which is good because my homemade pumpkin ale hits maturity on Friday.
Oh, good. I mean, you definitely have to try that.
Oh, God,
you put a lot of effort into that.
Oh, my God, I so did. This has been like the longest 8 weeks of my life making this thing.
Can you smell it?
I started brewing. I did, yes. When we racked it into the final bottles, we could give it a sniff, and yeah, it was pretty good. It smelled pretty good. So it'll hit the fridge tomorrow night, and then Friday it'll be ready to roll. So wait. Back to Allen Robinson. Sorry, folks.
Yes.
It's like I've warned you. I haven't any carbs.
It's the low carbs.
It's the low carbs. I think Allen Robinson's going to end up having a tremendous year, or at least try to, because he wants to get the hell out of Chicago. What do you think?
It's same thing. I think beginning of the year or last year, he was really happy they got Nick Foles, and I think that he thought that his career was going to change because, hey, look, I'm playing with Nick Foles now. He won the Super Bowl, and that didn't happen. So.
Well, I think this is really money driven. I mean, he makes. Let's just and they talked about this today on Sirius Fantasy Radio, and I don't remember who was talking about it, but in terms of contract numbers, he makes less than Brandon Cooks, and Brandon Cooks is not good. I can't think of any person we would have on this podcast who would tell you they would take Brandon Cooks over Allen Robinson if they had to choose between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So anyway, my question for you.
Yeah.
The first round of Hall of Fame nominations came out today.
Oh.
Now, Hall of Fame, don't forget, for football is kind of a bizarre situation. It's a group of guys who all get in a room and argue about who they should put on, and then they get a list together of it can be anywhere from 2 to 30 names.
Yeah, it's not like baseball.
It's not like where there's an actual ballot. It's more like a convention to whittle down the list, and then they have another convention to argue about it and then walk out of the room. So I presume the convention will be happening virtually this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very weird process, but there's a number of notable names that are eligible for the first time this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to run down gut instinct. I don't want any explanation.
Okay.
Yes or no, this guy deserves to be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yep.
All right. The first one I think is very easy. Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Yes. Calvin Johnson. Does Megatron go to the Hall?
Yeah, he does.
I'm going to say no. Wes Welker.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to say no. Roddy White.
Ooh, yes.
I love Roddy White, but I'm going to say no. I have a much higher bar than most people. That's, Heath Miller, the tight end.
No.
No. Steven Jackson, the running back.
Where did he play?
L.A. Remember his best years with the Rams? Technically, I think they were the St. Louis Rams back then.
No.
I'm going to say no, too. DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Yes.
Are you basing that strictly on his name?
Yes. And the skit.
Logan Mankins, the guard. Who I think played a couple of different places, but I could not tell you one of them off the top of my head.
You know what? I'm going to stay neutral on that because I really don't know.
Okay. Charles Peanut Tillman.
Yes.
I'm going to say yes. There's a move named after him. that throwing your fist into the side of a receiver or running back is called the peanut punch. That's what they call. He's in. Charles Woodson.
Oh God! As much as I didn't like him as a Steeler, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say yes. Jared Allen.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes.
I'm gonna say yes because I'm biased.
Yes.
And I met him. He curls now, and I met him at a curling event, and he was just the nicest guy on earth. He is massive in every dimension. I'm 6'2". I don't consider there's two heights in my world, tall and short. If you're shorter than I am, you're short. If you're taller than I am, you're tall. It's that he is very tall. So, Justin Tuck.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about him.
I'm on
so
the
I'm
fence.
Gonna go no.
I'm on the fence.
Kevin Williams.
Like Mankins, I couldn't tell you.
So I'm putting in Manning, I'm putting in Tillman and Woodson, and I'm putting in Jared Allen. Those are the 4 I'm putting in. And the class can be 10. I mean, is Peyton Manning a guaranteed first year? Is it guaranteed?
I think he has to be.
I don't think there's a question about it. So, all right, cool. That was my hot take. Do you have another one for me?
My other one, and now I'm going to preface this since I don't want you to crash your truck.
Oh,
this
God,
is a legit question.
And that's anti-patriot, isn't it?
No, it's not. Do you think, all right, so the Buccaneers lost.
Yes.
As we all saw. Tom Brady swore a lot.
Oh, my God. That is a huge problem, by the way.
Did
swearing? You see ESPN on Monday night was doing a tape delay and was cutting the audio?
Oh, they did?
Oh, yes. If you watched the game on Monday night, for the first couple of minutes, you probably thought you were having some sort of audio difficulties because you would hear everything and it would cut out for a second and it would be right back. And that's because I heard Tom Brady tell somebody to fuck off. Did you hear him curse out number 22?
No, is that that's who he's yelling at?
At one point, he went, "Shut up, 22, fuck off," and it was caught loud and clear when he ran into the end zone for that touch. Did he run for the end zone? Did he have a rushing touchdown? He did, didn't he?
I think he did.
When he got into the end zone, he screamed shit when he spiked the ball. He screamed it. He screamed, "Oh shit, yeah!" Dude, all caught on network television. They've got to do something about that. It is too quiet in the stadiums for them to have.
Everyone's being mic'd up pretty much now.
Well, but that's it. You have sideline microphones that are designed to pick up everything in a small area because there's so much crowd noise to try and balance it out. Well, now the balance is gone. Now I can hear every single word being said on the field, and that's not good. So anyway, you're back to your question about Tom Brady cursing on the field and whatnot.
Right. And then we saw they replayed the tape after, at first, Aaron's, when he had that other interception. I don't know if it actually was the same one, but it was a throw to Mike Evans. Yep. And at first, Aaron's was like, "Yo, yeah, it happens." And Brady looked the same in practice. But then you play the tape again, video. And as you can see, our favorite receiver, Mike Evans, slows down.
Yep.
So it was actually his fault.
He quit on the team on Sunday. No question. Yeah. You could just tell by the body language in his face.
So after that, really my question is, after that first game, is Brady going to have a losing season for the first time in a very long time?
Possible. It's possible. You're not in Kansas anymore.
Literally.
That's literally. You're not. You're in a situation that's going to be tougher, and the people around you are not
the same.
Yeah. Listen. I saw, I think it was on the third quarter, I saw them, it was an incomplete pass to Mike Evans. I think it was his third or fourth target, and he hadn't had a catch yet. And they came up, and the look on his face as he ran back to the huddle was already, he's checked out. He's checked out. We talk about how moody guys like Odell are. Mike Evans doesn't get moody publicly. He doesn't kick nets. He doesn't get upset like that, but he gives up. He's just like, well, screw this. They're going to throw it at everybody but me, then screw it. Yeah. I don't have to work hard. That was the look. Now here's the thing. People are going to, and I can already hear my mailbox filling up with complaints that, well, the guy was playing hurt. Yes, that is true. Mike Evans was questionable coming into that game. And yes, he's been dealing with a nagging injury. I get it. That's fine. But the mental demeanor was not there. And we can't use physical injuries for excuses for the mental demeanor. If he can't hack it and be out there, then he shouldn't be out there. But what we ended up having was Bruce Arians essentially making excuses for Tom Brady, who didn't look great. Okay, but he's on a new team and all that fun stuff, so we shouldn't expect him to look great right out the gate, particularly in a year where the preseason didn't happen. All of those things factor in. But what I did clearly see was the Mike Evans factor, which is, he doesn't feel like he's involved. Maybe he's in discomfort because of his injury, whatever it may be. He mentally checks out. And we saw it clear as day. And it's why I have a problem with all the Mike Evans truthers out there who tell me, well, Britt, he's been in the top 7 in this, and he's in the top 5 in this. Great. If you only take the 4 best games he plays every year, yes, he's a top 3 wide receiver every single year. The problem is those other 12 games, he's averaged to subpar. Yes. And we saw it again on Sunday. That's why I don't want to use him. I don't want to use him.
I avoid him as much as
possible. I don't
possible.
think I have a single share of him in any of the 6 redraft. I've 2 dynasty, 4 redraft leagues. By the way, we lost in the Scott Fish Bowl this week to one of the senior producers from ESPN, Keith Lipscomb. We lost by like 4 points because Saquon Barkley stunk up the joint.
Yeah, the Giants were bad.
If Saquon Barkley does half of what Saquon Barkley is supposed to do, we win that game.
Or even
with no
score
problem.
A touchdown.
What's that?
Even if he scored a touchdown.
If he'd scored a touchdown, or he had one more catch for 20 yards. And I saw flashes of brilliance. It was a great catch where he just took it and he hurdled over some guys. But overall, he just looked tired and disinterested too. And that's a problem. That is a problem. I think the COVID year is going to be a weird year in the NFL. I really do. So, and like you mentioned, we had a bunch of injuries, updates. Michael Thomas is going to be out in multiple games. As of right now, I don't believe he's been placed on the IR. Folks, keep in mind, the IR rule this year is different because of COVID. Okay? The IR is only a minimum stay of 3 weeks. It's not like it used to be. What was the minimum stay before? It was like 12 weeks or something like that? They had to be out a minimum of 12, something like that. It's 3 weeks. Put a guy on IR today, he can be back in week 5. It's fine. So don't be shocked when you see people go. Le'Veon Bell is on the IR. Mm-hmm. So does that mean he's done? No, but that's what we've been trained to understand. So you gotta be prepared for the difference this year. It's gonna be different this year. So Connor,
who else is hurt?
James Conner. We talked about Benny Snell when he came out as a rookie. What was it, last year or the year before? Was last year.
Was it?
This is his second year.
Everything's just a blur in my head.
This is a second year because remember last year was the dynasty startup we got involved in.
Yes.
And we were targeting him, and we got sniped. Like we had him targeted for like the 3rd round of a rookie draft. We're like, nobody's gonna want this guy. And then in the 2nd round, a Steelers fan sniped us, and I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And I even reached out to the guy and said, what do you want for Snell? And he was like, nothing, because there's nothing you can give me to get Benny Snell off my roster. I'm like, okay. I've got Zeke. I'm not offering Zeke, but I've got Zeke. He was like, no, I wouldn't even no. He was like, no, Benny Snell's the future. And we talked about that too. We were like, this guy's could be a touchdown vulture. Well, now he's going to get a little bit more of an opportunity. And people are saying I watched a little bit of that game. I wasn't really thrilled with what I saw out of Snell, but I wasn't like displeased. He definitely ran the ball better than Connor, but I don't want to hear any more about, and this goes along with the David Johnson Poole stuff. I don't want to hear any more about how great they look in workout rooms. I don't want to see pictures of James Conner's back looking like he's flexing with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. Remember? Everybody was like, look at all the muscle he's put on. He's put on weight. He's really taking it seriously.
Doesn't help you run.
No. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear weight room does not equal performance automatically, folks. It doesn't. It doesn't. If it did, then I would go down to the gym tomorrow, work out for 15 minutes, have Craig take a picture of my back, and I'd sign with an NFL team. That's not how it works. It's not. So we don't know if Connor will miss time. Michael Thomas is definitely going to miss time.
Actually, Juju Smith is injured, and so is Deontay Johnson.
Deontay's on the list?
Yeah.
What happened to Deontay now?
Toe.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go with the goddamn turf toe. Somebody else had turf toe this week, too.
Philip Lindsay.
My God.
Marlon Mack is dead. Well,
Marlon Mack is on the IR. We won't see him. Is he season done?
Yeah, he tore his Achilles.
Oh, God. So that brings up the question: who do you trust in Indy now? Are they going to go to Hines or are they going to go to Jonathan Taylor?
I think it's going to be Taylor.
I think it's going to be a share, but I think you're going to see much like the Singletary Gore last year. I think you're going to see the rookie get more and more time as time progresses. I think you're going to see about 70% Hines now, but if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be 70% Taylor by like week 10.
Yeah.
That's my gut feeling on it. Oh my God, Deontay Johnson is actually one of the metrics picks this week.
Well, I mean, definitely, if you want to use him, definitely
gotta watch.
We
got to watch and see what happens with him. So, you know what? I'm going to do a quick search on his name right now and see what the latest is. Deontay Johnson. We'll do it live.
While Britt looks for that, I am shocked at the Washington football team is number 1 in the NFC East.
Yeah, Philly looked bad.
Listen, before we get into the metric, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Start the Rams defense this week. Because
you think so?
They're playing the Eagles, and the Eagles' offensive line is made of napkins. Because the Washington team,
they lost like 3 guys.
They got 8 sacks, 7 sacks, plus turnovers,
something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. And and Philly lost at least 2 offensive linemen over the course of the game.
Yeah.
So all right, so Deontay Johnson's been dealing with a foot injury since before the Giant game. Yeah, I mean there's nothing in here about an increased injury, but it'll be something we have to watch on. So, but you know what? That's a nice segue. Let's just jump right into the metric this week. So last week, really quick. Oh wait, Deontay Johnson was the recommended play last week. Is he on this week's metric?
Maybe.
Oh, he's not. All right, good.
Oh, good.
That's fine.
Perfect.
Fine. So last week, let's just really quickly, let's talk about the guys we talked about. We talked about Jared Goff a lot. Goff was good, but he wasn't world breaker, but he was okay, but he was value, so that was good. Running back, we talked about Antonio Gibson. I was absolutely incensed that they used Barber at the goal line.
3 times.
Incensed. 3 times. They gave Gibson 1 goal line carry, and it was right after he'd made the big play to get them down to the goal line. The dude's winded, and you gave him the ball right back. I mean, come on. Melvin Gordon got hurt. What the hell happened to Joe Mixon?
Joe Mixon, I don't know. They just had some offensive line issues. I think what they were doing, because I was actually able to watch the game, they gave a lot more plays to Burrow, I think, just to get him into like a rhythm. And then Mixon fumbled for the first time in 3 years. So
yeah. Speaking of fumbles, so did Deontay Johnson on the first punt return, which, by the way, those count as fumbles and scores in DraftKings. So when Deontay Johnson fumbled that first punt in the first quarter, and he just never really kind of recovered from that. Jerry Jeudy had an okay game. I think he had something like 4 for 57, but not enough to make value. And I didn't see how CeeDee Lamb did. So did he do anything spectacular?
No, I think he was like 60 yards. He was 70 yards,
under
70. But
he was only 4,000 last week, so that's a big, 4,100. That's not value. But the big hit of the week was the Washington defense.
Yes.
You paid 2,000 for the Washington defense, and you got over 10 points on DraftKings. You got 5x value, and that just allowed me to spend up elsewhere. So by doing that, I was able to use Devontae Adams and Russell Wilson, and those 2 alone made up the rest of my week. I used the Washington football team defense. I used Hayden Hurst, and I used Antonio Gibson as my value options, and I was able to fill in with big names the rest of the way, and my God, did it pay off. I think my lineup scored 197 points.
Nice.
Which that's tournament range, folks. When you get up near 200 points, that's tournament talk. So I think I placed, because I'll throw my lineup into the freebie stuff, like the guys who are promoting something, like Amazon did a free pool in honor of the return of their show, The Boys. I threw it into that, and I won $1 in that. I mean, you just throw it in. It was a positive week because of that. So, but this week I went back to the metric and I said, listen, we need to really look in and see what we got here. So I found a lot of experts. I found the experts very polar this week in listening to them. So for full disclosure, I listen to a lot of shows before I do my own rankings. So I listen to one set of guys and they're very pass oriented. They're like, the wide receivers are going to dominate, the running backs aren't getting any point. I listen to another expert and he's like, nope, I'm pushing up the running backs, wide receivers are scaling down, blah blah blah. Different people have different ideas about where the offense is going to come from, and some people have higher expectations for the offense. We'll do America's favorite game after the metric this week. It just changed things up a little bit. Why? Because I already started the metric and I don't feel like going backwards. So the metric does have a consensus number one quarterback that it loves in DraftKings this week, and that's Kyler Murray. I've got Kyler Murray slated for about 21 points, maybe 22, and he's 6,100. Why is Kyler Murray only 6,100? Can someone explain this to me? The dude can throw, the dude can run, and he's got weapons galore.
I think just because people still envision the Cardinals as the Cardinals.
But even Kenyon Drake was decent last week. I mean, he didn't have a gangbuster. I think he was 12 or 13 points, because I do have him in a couple of leagues, but he wasn't bad. I think Arizona is just going to get better and better. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald is sitting there going, I am the number 3 wideout, and I don't care. Somebody make me a sandwich. I'm going to put my feet up until it's third down.
Then let me know.
Just wake me up when you need me to go out there. So I love Kyler Murray this week. Dak Prescott is a higher paid option. Josh Allen is on my list too, but I am not sold on Josh Allen.
Neither is Cinch.
And I heard several experts this week say he just didn't look good. Wentz looked terrible. But you know what? If I'm 6,100 Kyler Murray, but I'm also going to have some shares of Matt Ryan, because Atlanta has a terrible defense, and they're going to need to pass the ball against the Cowboys. They're just going to have to. So I think Matt Ryan so I'm looking at Murray and Ryan as my two big ones. If I really need to save money, Jared Goff is looking at me at about 5,800, but I'm really more interested in using Kyler Murray and Matt Ryan, a little bit of each in my lineups this week. Who do you like at quarterback this week for DFS?
I do like Murray because of his price. If you want to spend up a little bit, there's always Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and who's fantastic.
Because they're playing
fantastic.
Who are they playing this week?
I don't even have the schedule up in front of me.
They're playing the Patriots Sunday night.
Oh, well, that takes it out of the main lineup. So now you're talking about you got to play the Thursday or Sunday.
That's true.
You got to play that way.
Because I think he's on a screw you mission this year. I kind of like Aaron Rodgers against the Lions.
Yeah, you have to. And if you're liking Aaron Rodgers, by default, you've got to love Devontae Adams.
Yes.
It's just a done deal. If you're going to use Aaron Rodgers, you've got to stack Adams with him. There's just no option there. All right, so let's talk about some running backs. So I feel like this week is going to be a week where I'm going to spend down. I'm going to try and split my commitments because I really want to spend up at wide receiver. So I'm definitely looking to spend down at tight end and defense again. But running back, believe it or not, the consensus number one value on the board is Alvin Kamara.
Really?
And he's 7,800. And that is shocking to me because 7,800 guys normally aren't guys that the metric targets, but that's also the Monday night game. So again, if you're looking at the main lineups, you're not going to be able to use him. I think, and they're indoors, they're in Vegas.
Playing the Raiders, yeah.
They're playing the Raiders. It's going to be an indoor game. So, I think that factors in. But the other guy the metric really likes is Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor's still only sitting at 5,700. He gets to 18 points. He's golden.
Yeah, I think these next couple weeks, you're going to see his price go up considerably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like we saw last year with Darren Waller. Waller was at the minimum relief. First couple weeks we used him, and then all of a sudden, boom, he was like one of the top 5 most expensive tight ends on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I like Kamara. I like Taylor. If I'm looking pricey, I like Derrick Henry. If I'm looking cheap, I'm keeping an eye on Melvin Gordon. But I think my cheaper option this week is definitely Kenyon Drake. Because, again, I'm talking about Arizona. And if I'm going to use Kyler Murray, Kenyon Drake makes a nice mini stack. Now, again, You're sitting there, you're saying to me, well, I don't know about Arizona. They're playing Washington. They're playing Washington, guys. Philly. Washington didn't beat Philly because they're good. Washington beat Philly because Philly was bad.
They were very bad.
I watched that entire game, and I'm just like,
bad.
What am I looking at?
Like,
Wentz came out the gate and then just faded after the first quarter.
Like, I don't know if that keeps happening, Carson Wentz is not going to last the year.
Yeah. The offensive line is shot. Miles Sanders is supposed to be back this week, which he better be because Boston Scott can't handle it with this line.
No.
And I think
it makes me
Miles
sad.
Miles Sanders is going to struggle too. I think Sanders is going to struggle too. So one name you'll notice that you did not hear me say was Frank Gore. Oh. Yes, Frank Gore is in a situation now, particularly with Le'Veon Bell on IR. Frank Gore might see a few more carries. He's 4,500. He'd have to get to 14 points, and I don't see it.
At least not against the 49ers.
Well, not only that, but did you hear who the Jets signed yesterday? Yesterday or today? I think it was yesterday. Adam Gase found Kalen Ballage working somewhere and threw a jersey at him.
God.
Adam Gase and his love affair with Kalen Ballage. Can we be now done with the Adam Gase experiment? Can we just say this is not gonna work? This is simply not gonna. It's not. It's not gonna work. So how many games does Adam Gase last in season 2? I think if the Jets when is the Jets off week? I'm a big fan of firing people on the off week. I love to fire people on their off week. What's the Jets schedule look like this week? It's 10-1. Oh, there's a gap. There's a 10 game. Yeah, that's only 10 days. 18-25. I'm looking for.
They're playing the Chiefs this year.
Oh yeah, that's chalk that up as a win. Okay. I think they're like week 4 or 5. It looks like they've played the Bills. They've got the Niners. Then they've got the Colts. Then they've got a Thursday night game. And then they don't play for 10 days. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're off week 5. Week 5, they're off. If the Jets are 0-5, Adam Gase is done. I think he's possibly done if they're 1-4. So I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on from Adam Gase. I really am.
he tried, and I don't know.
If you want to reach cheap this week, you got to reach for Adrian Peterson, right? I mean, he's only 4,700.
That's cheap.
That's cheap, but I think DeAndre Swift is just going to get more and more work, and I've named this now. It's called Sammy Watkins syndrome, because Sammy Watkins, ever since he became a Chief, he has a great week 1 every year. Look back at 2019, he was a top 3 wideout in week 1. He goes nuts and then he fades away. I think AP is going to kind of do the same thing. I think he's going to be good early and he's just going to kind of fade away. So I'm not using him, but if you're desperate for a Chief option at 4,700, I would use Gibson at 4,300 myself. But, there's a reason that they didn't cut Adrian Peterson in Washington because he's bad, folks. They cut him because they had too many good guys there, and Antonio Gibson was a big part of that. Now, wideouts where it gets interesting, because there's only one guy the metric loves, and it's Julio Jones. The metric thinks Julio Jones could get up to 23 points. And he's 7,400. At 22 points, he hits value. So how rare is it that we say, go buy that guy at 7,400? We just told you Alvin Kamara at 7,800 was the best that the metric could offer over there. So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm paying down at running back. I'm going to use Jonathan Taylor and maybe like a Kenyon Drake, but definitely under 6K for each of my running backs. So I can pay a little bit up for Matt Ryan and then pay way up for Julio. And if I'm careful, I can also sneak Devontae Adams. So if
he's 8,100,
he's 8,100. If I have my way in all things, my 3 wideouts this week are Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and Paris Campbell, because Paris Campbell looks like he's on the rise, and I've got him slated for 12 points this week, which would put him at value. So
yeah, and
I'm paying up at wideout.
And the Vikings defense looked horrible.
Oh, they're bad. The Viking defense is bad. I think their entire secondary turned over. Did I read that correctly?
2 of them are on the Bengals, and they're both hurt. But,
Yeah, like there's no one in the Viking secondary that was there last year, or there's like one guy that was there last year. I didn't take a close look at it. I just heard it or read it somewhere. I was like, oh, really? That's interesting. So yeah, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, and Paris Campbell are my three. Who do you like?
I definitely, if I'm using Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna find a way to use Adams, and I do love Paris Campbell because A, he's 4,500, and B, like we just said, they're playing the Colts. Or not the Colts. The Colts are playing the Vikings.
So cheap. The next name down on the metric, by the way, is Mike Williams. No, we're not going down that rabbit hole again. We're not going down the Mike Williams rabbit hole again. You may remember last year, I think it was around week 8 or 9, the metric became obsessed with Mike Williams every week. Every week, there's going to be a Mike Williams breakout week. It never came. And every week, I told you. And it bears repeating. The metric is not the end-all, be-all of existence and finding value. When it spits out a name that I'm like, no way, I ignore it. I go to the next man up. Next man up. So when it puts Mike Williams at 4, I'm like, no, I'll find a way to save money somewhere else.
Sometimes Britt argues with it.
I do. It likes Darius Slayton this week. I don't like Darius Slayton this week.
Not even against the Bears?
Nope. Daniel
Actually,
Jones.
quick question. Is Sean going to live through this Sunday?
Oh my God, he's married to a Giants fan. That never dawned on me. All right, so Siri, hey Siri, remind me to do a wellness check on Sean on Monday. Okay, good. All right, so we'll take care of that. Next name down, Marquise Brown. I've seen experts that say Marquise Brown is going to have another great game. He had a really good game this weekend. He was in the bonus. I don't know, but he's 6,200. It's hard to take a shot at him at 6,200 for a guy who may or may not. He's 2 points or 20. Yeah. So I'm also keeping an eye on N'Keal Harry because he's only 4,200. So there it is. There's what I'm gonna say right there. If your choices are between N'Keal Harry and Mike Williams, I'm taking the risk on N'Keal Harry.
That's true. How do you feel reverse though? Robinson against the Giants.
If he can keep his attitude in check and Trubisky does try to work him into the game like he did last week, then I think he could have a big day. I hope he does because I've got him in like 2 or 3 of my season longs. I have more shares than Allen Robinson than I thought I would have. Let's put it that way. So let's talk about tight ends. The metric, and this is another example of where sometimes, I want to save money at tight end. I used Hayden Hurst last week because he was cheap. It didn't work out. But it worked out in that I won money because the $200 or $300 he saved me allowed me to go up in another place. This week, the metric is telling me to use Chris Herndon. We just talked about how Adam Gase is done.
There's so much talent there. I don't understand what's happening.
It's there's no coaching and it's just bad. But I may use Herndon not because I have a lot of faith. I have him slated for 8 points. At 3,400, that is not 3x value, but I don't have anybody in the metric this week at tight end who I expect to get the 3x.
No, so that's he needs a touchdown in 30 yards?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. I mean, if one catch, well, put it this way, 2 catches for 20 and a touchdown would be plus 10.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean,
so he basically needs to get in the end zone. He needs to get in the end zone. But, do we think the Jets can do that against the Niners? I don't know. I don't know. I think Darnold will be hard pressed to try and throw the ball downfield, so I think he's going to have to try to go short. So if you want to spend up a little bit more, Noah Fant is a tremendous option. He had a really nice first game. We were big on Fant and Hawkinson last year, and they both had nice weeks 1. They both had nice action in week 1, didn't they?
They did. And who's Denver playing?
Hold on, I got the schedule up here somewhere. Where's the Broncos?
Oh, they're playing the Steelers.
The Steelers didn't look as bad as I thought they would look on against the Giants.
Or was that the Giants being horrible?
That's what I mean.
So I'm not sure.
Is this like Philly making Washington look good? I don't know. I don't know. It could be either way. So I'll probably use Herndon. I'll probably use Fant a little bit. The metric also likes Jack Doyle. No, I won't touch Jack Doyle. The metric even actually spit out the name Tyler Eifert today. It was not. No. It was like the ninth. It was like the ninth name down.
Don't do that.
But But in terms of value, the metric is telling me to use Tyler Eifert before I use Mark Andrews. That's a great example of where we ignore the metric.
How do you feel about Jonnu Smith?
I like Jonnu Smith.
Playing
The
the
problem is
Jags.
his cost. How much is Jonnu? Jonnu's
42.
$4,200. So he's cheaper than Noah Fant. I probably personally would use him over Noah Fant. But I'm still going to use Herndon because I'm going to save that $800.
Yeah.
That $800,
You can get Devontae Adams.
That's it. So wait a minute. Let me just. All right. So Devontae Adams is 8,100. So I can use Devontae Adams, or I can use somebody who's around 7,300. Let me look. Adam Thielen,
No.
Devontae Adams, and Chris Herndon, or Jonnu Smith and Adam Thielen. I think I'll go Adams and Herndon.
Yeah, I go option 1.
Defensively, the metric said, "Hey, good idea about using that cheap team last week, right? I got another one for you." I went, "Oh God, here we go. You're going to use the Chargers." And I said, "The Chargers are playing the Chiefs, you grand idiot." And he was like, No. Chargers are only 2,000. All we need is a turnover and them to not give up more than, like, say, 30 points. And they can make value.
It's possible. I mean, they're playing at home. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Divisional games are different, like we all know.
I'll be honest. I didn't think the Chiefs looked fantastic on offense. They came out hot, but as the game wore on, they were just kind of like, all right, yeah, we have a lead. We don't care. I kind of feel like that's what they're going to do to the Chargers. They're going to go up 21-3.
I don't know. Do you think, as a Chiefs fan, do you think that's how their season's going to be? They're just going to be like, we won.
I don't think they're disinterested, but I don't think they're as hungry as they were. That's for sure. I didn't sense that. But what I did sense from them, I didn't sense complacency either, but I did sense, what's the word to look at it? Patience. Like they're approaching this year from a more patient perspective. Like the pressure's off us now. We don't have to score every single drive, every single game. We're up against a team we think we can get ahead of. We can hold our lead is the feeling I got from them. And, that's really what I saw. And I think that's what they're going to do to the Chargers. They get up by more than 2 scores. They can take the foot off the gas. And defensively, they look 1,000 times better than they did this time last year.
Yeah. Remember that? We were just like, start anyone against the Chiefs defense.
Chiefs defense. Yes, we did. Frank Clark looks amazing now. So if you're looking to spend up a little bit, the Colts aren't a bad option. Who are the Colts playing this week? The Vikings. And the Vikings are not good, folks.
They're not the same team.
They're not good. So I'm going to spend down at defense and tight end so that I can spend up at wide out and make sure that I get one decent running back in this week. That's my plan. Spend down at defense and tight end, spend up at wide out. Do that so you can afford the Adams and Julio combo. And then if you can afford Ryan or Rodgers, do it.
Yeah.
So
if I can figure out a way to afford the Rams, I would put the Rams in.
Believe it or not, we're running out of time, so we got to do America's favorite game really quick.
All right.
So there are 4 games over 50. There are none under 40. So 4 games over 50, and these are games, we just talked about the metric, so these should be, some of these teams should jump to your head right away, Craig. Give me a game with an over-under over 50. You get 3 strikes to get the 4 of them.
Falcons-Cowboys.
Falcons-Cowboys, 50.5. That's it. We just talked about it. Falcons will be throwing the ball all over the place because they can't stop anybody. So, yes.
All right. Chiefs-Chargers.
Absolutely. 50.5. Same idea.
Nice.
Same idea. This game has the potential to end up a shootout. I'm going to take the under in that game because I think Casey's going to take their foot off the gas. But could it be 30-20? Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Saints-Raiders.
Yes, 50.5.
Nice.
He's 3 for 3. Again, New Orleans. Derek Carr has it in his head. Jacobs, Waller, Ruggs. Oh, there's other people here. Hunter Renfro? Is he here still? Is he here still? Okay, well, it doesn't make a difference because I'm only throwing to those 3 guys. But that's enough for them to get points on the board. The funny part is you've hit 3 of them at 50.5. The highest of the week is the one remaining at 53.5.
Wow, really?
And you have 3 strikes to get it.
Ooh. You know what? Let's go Ravens-Texans.
That's a clean sweep.
Wow, look at that.
For the first time ever, I think Craig has swept America's favorite game. He gets the Toblerone, the car, and the trip to Hawaii. the music, the Price is Right music is playing in Craig's head. He is in fantastic shape. Ravens
awesome.
and Texans. And we didn't talk anything about any of the Ravens players. I mentioned Marquise Brown. I think they just have so many weapons. I'm not sure who to use on that team.
Maybe because he's cheap. Maybe Dobbins.
You could try it. But I think Ingram is still going to be the workhorse, and Justice Hill is still there. So I'm not sold on that either. I know you're big on Dobbins. I think Dobbins is a good long-term play. So, wow, the smoothest and best I've ever seen Craig do at America's Favorite Game. Congratulations.
Thank
well
you.
done there.
Thank you.
So the 4 games that Vegas says are going to be high scoring, which means possibly high scoring for fantasy, would be Falcons, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, Texans, and Saints, Raiders. All right, let's move on to final thoughts. Craig, what's your final thought this week?
Final thought for me is hi, Deb. And
yes,
also, Deb. It definitely, it's a weird year, as we've kept saying. People are getting injured left and right. I think 2 or 3 kickers got hurt this week, including the Bengals kicker. A punter got hurt. Definitely check injury reports
regularly
before you finalize any lineups.
Yes, regularly check your injury reports. I actually gambled in our Dynasty League. I gambled that Golden Tate would play, and it killed us. It didn't cost us the game. We would have lost the game even if Golden Tate had gone out there and had like 15 to 20 points. It was that bad. But I gambled on it. I was like, listen, I'm gonna take the shot with it. We don't have a chance to win without Golden Tate, and he didn't play. But you got to keep on top of that stuff. You got to keep an eye on it. So, good call. My final thought is just, if you watched the kickoff last week between the Chiefs and the Texans, and you watched the beginning of the game, you saw a moment of unity between the two teams, and it really bothered me as I heard the reduced size crowd in Arrowhead Stadium boo. And my issue with it is very simple. I've heard a lot of explanations for it. I've heard people say, well, they were booing the fact that the Texans were late to get to the end of the line and all linked their arms. The booing started the moment Mahomes and Watson linked arms. So I don't buy that at all. And then people were like, well, I don't want politics in my sports mixing. I don't think that's right. And to those people, just shut up. You don't understand history. I would urge you to look, if that's what you think, if you think that politics and sports are completely separate, go back and look at the 1936 Berlin Olympics, where Hitler used it as a complete political ploy. And if Jesse Owens doesn't take a gold medal, it's a complete political slam dunk for Hitler and his agenda. Look at the Black Power salute in the 70s. I mean, the Olympics are inextricably linked to politics. Just today, the LA Angels owner was quoted saying that Donald Trump must win the election. So there's a baseball owner who has no problem mixing politics and sports. Nobody cares what he thinks if he doesn't own the Angels. So I was very, very upset. And so I want to take just a second and just speak directly to anybody who was at that game and decided it was a good idea to stand up and boo. You're an idiot. You don't deserve to go to Kansas City Chiefs games. You don't deserve to be in my stadium, and you don't speak for me or my organization or the city of Kansas City. And I say all those because I've been a Chief fan for over 30 years. 30 years I followed this team. And I have blood, sweat, and cried for them just as much as any of the idiots in that stands. And y'all should count yourself lucky that the Chiefs are one of the few teams that actually let people into the stadium, which I think is a mistake. Craig, you've been on record about this too. You don't think we should have fans in the stands?
No, I don't. They should just do what baseball's doing and just no fans.
Cardboard cutouts. I am fine with that. Pictures of everybody's dog. Do it. But to stand up and boo a bunch of guys who just wanted to show a moment of unity, that's classless, and it doesn't speak anything about it doesn't give the real story about the organization and the people in it. And so shame on each and every one of you who decided that it was a good idea to boo those guys because you have twisted ideas of what patriotism is. And I'm going to be honest right now, Craig is whenever politics comes up, Craig gets a paper bag, mutes his mic, and starts breathing heavily. What is Britt going to do to get us in trouble? The original version of this rant had a lot of 4-letter words in it.
Hey, I know you could do that. It's fine with me. Hey,
I know, but I don't want to. We're marked as explicit. We're not going to get kicked off the air for it. But yeah. So my final thought is just like, listen, it's an election year. It's politically charged. There's a lot going on in our country. If you really think that football players don't have a right to voice their opinion, go to hell. Go to hell. You know who else came out about that, by the way? And I know I'm going over time when I say this. Did you see Mike Ditka came out and started spewing again?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, you're irrelevant, old man. You are irrelevant. You have not been relevant in years. Stop trying to get your name into the newspaper.
I don't even think he's on Fox anymore, is he?
I don't think he's on any pregame show because he's insane, because he's old and he's crazy. Herschel Walker is putting up videos talking about the dangers of this election and socialism. Shut up. You don't have relevance here. You have no ground to stand on. It's your right to do it, but you can't use your right to express how disappointed you are in the Texans and the Chiefs when they're just using their right with the blessing of their employer to do it. You can't. It's like the old Simpsons episode where I think they were going to burn the observatory and Moe gets crushed by a statue. They're going to go destroy the science center for whatever reason, and he gets crushed by a statue and he goes, "I hope science can save me."
Oh, I think that was wasn't that the asteroid?
I believe it was. And they were going to go burn down the observatory so that nothing like this would happen ever again because science had never done them anything good. And something falls on Moe, and he goes, "I only hope modern medicine can save me." It's only convenient when it's allowed for you. That's bullshit, and I'm not having it. I'm not having it. So Mike Ditka, stop. Stop talking. You're insane. So, all right, I'm way over time. Leave us a review wherever you listen to us. Stitcher, Player FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to us. iHeart, we're on there too. Communicate with us, fignutsdfs@gmail.com. We are at fignutsdfs on Twitter, although, as I've mentioned many times, I spend less and less time on Twitter because it is a cesspool of political nonsense. Craig, what did I forget?
Stitcher, Player FM, just find the links on our website. You can actually play it through Libsyn. Anywhere.
Yes, look for our free roll on DK. We do a free roll every week. It does usually fill pretty quickly. It's probably already full, but it is there. So, but we will be back next week. Good luck in DFS this week. Good luck in your season longs. And we'll be back next week with week 2 analysis and week 3 looking ahead. Until then, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast.